You know, I keep thinking, listening to him to express that confidence there, it was Mitch McConnell who said that the Republicans might not get the Senate back because of candidate quality. That was his phrase, right? Yeah. Even the Republicans think of this as basically their scratch and dent class of candidates. And yet, we have absolutely no idea if Democrats or Republicans are going to end up on top at the end.
This is the risk of outsourcing your candidate choices to the former president. I mean, Donald Trump essentially picked the field, and Mitch McConnell was willing to sit down for that. And I think Republicans have no one to blame but themselves for outsourcing leadership of their party to a former president who has no interest in the party.
But they may not be blaming anybody if they end up with control of the Senate. We'll just end up with Herschel Walker and Don Bolduc and all of these other almost unimaginable candidates in those seats.
I mean, Tommy Tuberville is a U.S. Senator.
Tommy Tuberville just got a if Herschel Walker's in the Senate, Tommy Tuberville looks like, you know, he just got a few more. Well, he just went up the food chain a little bit, I think, in terms of legislative priorities and policymaking. I wonder, when we talk about candidate quality, it's important to note that Democrats, you know, were involved in big upping some of these candidates with the expectation that they would inevitably lose. Don Bolduc got money effectively. There were Democratic groups advertising how Don Bolduc, basically putting him at the front of the line in the primary process because they thought Maggie Hassan would have an easier time beating him. And you've got to wonder, in a moment like this, is there buyer's remorse?
I think they were right, though. I mean, I think that had Morse, right, I think the other candidate who they were boosting Bolduc over actually would have had an even better shot against Maggie Hassan. And it's a state that, I mean, New Hampshire is a very, very purple state. If this is going to be a red election year, I think that Hassan was going to have a tough seat to defend anyway. And so Bolduc might be the best chance the Democrats have.
Possible outcome.
But the risk is that you end up with him actually in the Senate talking about litter boxes.
But I think the thing, you had the January 6th committee came out against that. And if you take this slice of voters that say democracy is their top issue, and you've played with fire by putting election deniers. You know, I mean, I'm still struck by the first thing you said when we sat down. If there's a red wave, we'll be covering a red wave. If there's a blue wave, the other side will be covering voter fraud.
Right, yes.
We do not live in normal times. These are extraordinary times.
Can I just say that only in America could the party behind an insurrection that wrapped its arms around the attempted overthrow of the government even be viable? If you think about what happened after Richard Nixon, Republicans got wiped out. We are now 1-2 generations from that, and trying to foment a violent overthrow of the government is actually, you know what? That's not something that makes you unelectable.
And the violent thing happened. The only thing that, I mean, they didn't try. They did that. The only thing that they didn't close the loop on was actually overturning the results.
Was actually winning and overturning.
It's like, it's a test. I mean, Herschel Walker, to me, is sort of a test of how far you can go on essentially what political scientists call thermostatic public opinion, right? Like, one party controls all branches. People are frustrated with the direction of the country. And, you know, Steve was just doing the math, right? We saw this in midterms. And that's not even a modern phenomenon. I mean, we've seen this going all the way back to, like, midterms after the Civil War, right? Where, like, the party that literally supported secession and treason in the Democratic Party was able to win midterms, like, not that long after the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, because it was like,
again,
I want the new guys, right?
It depends on whether or not there is accountability for what you have done. I mean, I agree. Plumbers and gym teachers going to jail for January 6th is not the same thing as the people who planned it having accountability. Those questions of their accountability are still pending because of the slowness of the legal process around this
stuff. But even if you did have that, right? Like, I mean, that's the thing, is that, like, the political memories tend to be very short in public opinion. And right now, I mean, to me, Walker and Masters to a certain extent, too, who's just a profoundly unlikable weird dude.
And J.D. Vance.
And Dr. Oz.
J.D. Vance is like, how much can you just bank on, like, just put someone on the ballot line. It's basically a 50-50 country. And if the other party controls, like, maybe just the money falls from the tree.
Tribalism is what is being borne out in the Republican Party. Is pure tribalism.
I think it's accountability, because the difference after Watergate is that Richard Nixon got on the helicopter and had to go and had to resign as president. I mean, after the Iran-Contra scandal, which Reagan got away with, the Republicans paid no consequences for that whatsoever. I mean, Iran-Contra versus Watergate, if you talk about the moral imperative there, I mean, there isn't much of a difference.
But the thing that's
the accountability for Nixon ensured that there would be a consequence in terms of the way they were viewed.
But I mean, and I learned this in Ultra, again, the thing with accountability is because the Republican Party is broken. It's broken. It has been corrupted from from the top to the bottom, and then now the bottom back up to the top, in picking these kind of candidates, in picking the J.D. Vance and the Masters through the primary process. The justice system and the congressional committees were never supposed to exist in a vacuum without voters turning these people out.
Yeah.
So what is broken isn't just the slow and excruciating wheels of justice and the limits of a congressional investigation that can't enforce all their subpoenas, can't or won't. It's that the politics on one side of the aisle are totally broken.
And it's interdependent.
Correct.
Accountability needs to be fast enough for there to be political consequences, and political consequences
And they usually
need
come
to be
first.
felt by the people who are at the top of the problem, not at the bottom.
And by the way, we can't let voters off the hook, because one of the things Republicans understood that Democrats have never understood, it's one of the frustrating things for a lot of Democratic, politicos, is that Republicans understand short attention spans can be met by celebrity. You just pick somebody famous. And Democrats don't do that. I mean,
TV
Republicans
doctor,
have had
old football star.
They've had Cooter. They've had Goober.
Right.
They've had Sonny Bono.
Right.
They've had Ronald Reagan. I mean, think about it. This is a trend.
Democrats couldn't even get Oprah.
Donald Trump. They couldn't get Oprah, right? I mean,
It's not too late.
You said
Not even. I mean, that would be.
They had Cooter and Goober. They've opened Congress people.
I've never been happier. All right. Still ahead, lots more to come. We're going to be talking about the fight over intimidation at the polls, to fight to make sure all the votes cast get counted. Election lawyer Mark Elias is going to be joining us coming up. We've got a lot to come. Also, Joy might say those words again.
Cooter from Dukes of Hazzard. Cooter.
I know exactly who you mean.
To say that?
I just like them together.